I think this is important too. I want to go back to something you said about dating Christian men and them wanting to change what you were doing or who you are, or, both. What I don't understand why people, it's okay that you're attracted to me. It's a lot of things that we're attracted to or that we want that really doesn't align with our lives and who we are. You know what I'm saying? You can like something and want it, but it doesn't mean that it's for you. And I want to know why we take people because we like them and we have this ideal of who we would want them to be so that they can fit in our world because we're so fucking selfish. Why do we do this and then try to change people? Well, why not just get with someone that is for you, that aligns with you? I mean, I'm not gonna hit nobody upside the head with the Bible, but it has a lot of good principles and quotes. One of those things was she was saying about the group. Well, he says when what is it, 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I'm in the midst. That's a good way of saying what you were saying, combining those people together on the same accord and attention. Boom, there's power in that. Another thing, back to what we were just talking about, is you shouldn't be unevenly yoked. People are not yoked evenly with these people that they want, and then they wonder why they have so much hell. How do you feel about that?
I've experienced that, like almost every relationship until I met my husband. And, and I've also been on the other end too, and where I wanted to change someone and thinking that I wanted them to fit what my idea of a person should be. And from my perspective, from that aspect of it, what I learned is it was a lot of missing parts of me that I had to fulfill. And I was uncomfortable with my own self. And so I was trying to have someone fit into something that I didn't even be aware of. And I had a lot of codependency issues, and I had a lot of things that I had to work through. And once I did that, I realized that when you're in a relationship with someone, you should be free. That person should feel free, and you should feel free. And there should be no, you need to do this, you need to be this way, or anything like that. And it's funny because when I met my husband, I asked him the first date, I said, "Are you a Christian?" And he said, "No." And I said, "Well, then I can work with that," because I had already determined that I'm just not going to be with somebody, and it's not that I'm not saying that all Christian men are bad. I'm not saying that at all. I've had some really good relationships with Christian men that were perfectly fine, but the ones that I did deal with that were toxic towards me were in the Christian faith. And so, my husband gives me a freedom just to be who I am, no matter what. And I think a lot of it comes to responsibility within ourselves too, and I can only speak as a woman's aspect of things, but as a woman, when I look back at my relationships with men, and I, in a sense, let them do that to me. I let them take that from me because I wasn't honoring myself. I wasn't taking control of my own life. And so it was easy for them to just take it from me because I just okay, I'm going to mold whatever you want. Well, once I did some healing and I actually started taking responsibility for myself and what works for me, when I met my husband, I said, "Look, this is who I am. I'm a witch. I read cards. I do this, I do this, I do this. And if this is not what you want, then you don't need to be with me. So let's not waste any time. I'm not doing this anymore." And luckily he looked at me and said, "I think I want to marry you." And I'm like, "Okay." And, and 7 years later, we joke all the time. I say, I don't feel like I'm married. I never feel like I'm married with him because he does not control anything in my life. He does not, I don't have to answer to him for nothing. We have a respect. We talk a lot. And he does it. He participates in my rituals if I ask him to, if I need that extra energy, and he'll take my classes if I ask him to. But in general, I respect him in his path, you know, he's more of he believes more in aliens and things like that. That's his perspective. And so I respect that, you know, and sometimes I'm like, well, you need to believe in something. And he's like, I believe in aliens. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, that's your perspective. And I can respect that, because also I believe anything's possible. So, I mean, who knows? And so, yeah, I respect that for him. But I think a lot of it comes in when it comes to relationships, and at least from a woman's aspect of it, and being in abusive and negative and toxic relationships where I did lose myself. I think looking back now, I had to take ownership of myself. I had to honor myself more. I had to say, you know what, no, this is who I am. And if you don't like me, then you need to go, instead of trying to hold on to them, instead of thinking that I needed that person. And in actuality, I don't even need my husband. I love him. I honor him. I enjoy him, but I don't need him. And when I came to that conclusion, it changed everything. It made everything different.
As you were talking, a couple of things. I hear the song by Usher, Just Don't Waste My Time, by Usher and Ella May. That's interesting. That popped in. Another thing is sometimes you must lose yourself to find yourself. You can't find anything without it being lost first. So that's a thing there. And we have been conditioned with programming to think, what do people say? Is that your ball and chain? You know, you're losing your freedom. You know, all these things associated with marriage, and we literally manifest that shit. And I am one to believe. I believe you should love freely.